Hello, this is attorney Tara Hutchinson with Pittsburgh Family Law Services, PC. I'm going to be talking a little bit today about standby guardianships in Pennsylvania. And like I did in my last video, I'm going to look at it from the perspective of Ben Warren and Miranda Bailey on the television show Station 19. So just to recap, firefighter Dean Miller, before he passed away, designated Ben and Miranda as guardians of his young daughter Prue. Once he passed away, even though Ben and Miranda were able to care for Prue, his parents, Prue's grandparents, came forward and they said Prue should really be living with us because we're her family, we're her grandparents, and Ben and Miranda have absolutely no connection or relation to Prue whatsoever. So you may be wondering how Pennsylvania would handle a situation like this. Would Dean's parents actually be allowed to come forward if Dean had a designation saying that he wanted Ben and Miranda to be the ones caring for Prue if he ever passed away? So let's take a look at what Dean actually did and how Pennsylvania would handle this. So in our state, in Pennsylvania, all throughout the state of Pennsylvania, whether you're in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, or where have you, a parent is allowed to designate an adult to act as a guardian of their minor children if something should happen to them. And that something could be leaving Pennsylvania for longer than 30 days. It could be being hospitalized, or it could of course mean that the parent passes away. So as I talk about this, I'm going to be assuming that this is coming into play because the parent has passed away. So when that parent passes away, the person who is designated as a guardian is able to go to court and file this designation. It's a written document that says, I nominate XYZ person. They file that document, and if the judge approves it, then that person ends up having physical and legal custody of the child. Now, this is an important distinction between an adoption. This is not the same thing as an adoption. A child does not end up getting a new name. A child doesn't get a new birth certificate. None of that. So in Ben and Miranda's situation, once Dean passed away, they would have filed the document that Dean prepared, hopefully with an attorney, likely with an attorney. And if the judge found that they were capable of caring for Prue and that this was in her best interests, then the judge would allow them to serve as her guardians. So they would be able to make medical decisions for her, they could sign her up for school, and they would have the ability to care for Prue and have her live with them full time. But they would not become her legal parents. They do not have any parental rights. They have, if something happened, they could say that they, like if they separated, they would be able to say that they have standing to ask for custody, but that's not the same thing as parental rights. And because of that, Dean's parents would be permitted to ask for some form of custody of Prue. Now, how much custody they could get is a whole separate question, and it really depends on the facts of the case. But in Pennsylvania, they would not be precluded from coming forward and asking for custody just because Dean already designated Ben and Miranda as Prue's guardians. So there's also another wrinkle here, which isn't being played out on the show, but would come into play in Pennsylvania. And that issue is that Prue's mother, JJ, is still very much alive. And And so when Ben would go to file this designation, when he would request that he and Miranda be appointed guardians, there would have to be a discussion about whether JJ's whereabouts are known. So a standby guardianship is absolutely not used to usurp a capable parent of his or her ability to care for their own child. Um, so if you're in a situation where you and your ex-spouse are sharing custody of your children, and your ex-spouse, you don't like your ex-spouse very much, but there's really not an issue with this person's parenting, you will not be able to use a standby guardianship to completely take away control from the other parent. So in other words, it's not going to be a situation where the guardian steps in and the other parent never gets to see the child again. That is not how this works. These designations are intended for when there is not another parent, another capable parent able to care for the child. But it does not take away the custody rights of a parent who is active and involved, and it does not prevent other people who may have standing from coming forward and asking for some form of custody. So in Pennsylvania, the situation where Dean's parents said that they wanted to care for Prue, that would indeed be permitted to happen. So I hope that this is helpful and interesting, looking at Pennsylvania family law matters from the perspective of characters in a television show, using them as an example. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, because I will be posting several videos about different family law topics which you may have questions about. Thank you for watching, and please, if there is any legal need that you have in the state of Pennsylvania, contact a licensed Pennsylvania family law attorney for guidance. Have a wonderful day until next time.